Hello, everybody. We're back. I'm back.
Chris is back.
Yes.
What time?
Yes, I am back. Started a full-time job, so there's very little time to do that. And
Congrats.
sadly, that full-time job is not doing YouTube, which really sucks. But you know what? We're here talking about the Jays after we got our hearts completely smashed and cut up and thrown into a volcano and then eaten by a shark in that game against Seattle. So yeah, we had a good 2-3 weeks to recover from that now. So we're talking about.
I released a full rant. Definitely go check it out.
Oh, I saw that video. It was a good rant.
Yeah, very solid. Very solid.
Very solid rant.
Jays are making positive moves already, I think,
Yeah.
for the offseason. I mean, they just extended John Schneider for 3 years. So
Yeah, great move. I was looking at the stats today on Sportsnet because I was watching it while I was watching some anime in the morning, and it said that John Schneider has the best winning percentage from a Jays manager in like over 10 games of like a stretch. So like, managers managed more than 10 games basically. So he's been good basically. So that's pretty awesome.
nice. I mean, I like him. I think he's it kind of sounds like he's been the guy ever since like Shapiro and Atkins like took over the Jays. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, he has been. Like when they took over, I believe they hired him as a
'Cause he was
low A
originally
coach?
like the low A coach. He coached like I think it was Tim Meza.
Yeah, probably something like that. He coached.
Like
then he
his
went
first
up to
group of players was like Meza and someone else, and then he coached like Vladdy and Bo and
Double A
Biggio.
and
Yeah, now he's
Gurriel,
just
all those
moved.
guys.
Yeah, now he's moved all the way up with them. So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Obviously you can see the inexperience though, a little bit.
There's a
but
little bit, but let's be honest. If the Jays kept Charlie Montoyo for that second half of the season, would have we made the playoffs? Would have we got
No.
the first wild
Oh
card
my-
seed?
Oh,
No.
there's an article on Sportsnet that came out, obviously talking about the extension, and also I should say it's a 3-year deal that includes a club option 2026. So
2026. Wow.
It's-
Okay, so it could be
yeah.
4-year deal.
it could be I think it works out to a 4-year deal. No,
Nice. I like that.
yeah, it could be a 4-year deal too. Anyhow, when he took over from after he took over from Charlie Montoya, the team went on a 46-28 run.
Don't forget we also scored the most runs in the American League or even in the entire league in that point as well.
Yeah, exactly. The offense came out. The pitching I thought got way better.
It did, and it's
I
because
don't know about you.
to me, he actually kept the starters in past maybe the second out of the 6th inning or something, and had them maybe even just start the 7th inning. Even if they get in trouble, then they would put somebody else in. But even giving the pitcher that option to go 7, 8. Nobody went 9 this year, which Manoah probably should have at some points. But that then saves the bullpen for other days where your pitcher maybe goes 3 or 4 innings. So then it's just a more fine balance between it all.
I don't know if you agree with me, but I think Schneider is a good mix between an analytical person and like an old baseball head. Where
Yeah.
I feel like Charlie Montoya was very analytical.
He was
And
Charlie Montoyo
I don't-
a calculator. Like that's just what he
Yeah,
was.
like I remember later in the season they talked about how the Jays don't shift as much anymore offensively, right? And they pull out the stats when it started the year. The Jays were shifting on like every single play.
Yeah, and there
And
was
this
a lot
isn't,
of
and I
plays,
think
too, that
by
didn't
when I
go
mean
well.
shift here, it was more than I think 5 steps from the player's normal position each way. So obviously they were going to shift a little bit per batter. Like lefty batter, you might play a little bit more to pull, but
Yeah.
yeah, like generally they were playing a little more old baseball head. You know what I mean? Like a little bit more like schoolyard baseball, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah. Also, that'll only benefit them next year when the shift goes away as well.
Yes,
So,
yes. I'm very excited for that,
me too.
especially with these new rules. That shift one's gonna be very interesting.
It'll be weird to see how, like, I know the Jays in Seattle, like, on average shifted the most throughout the year. So
Yeah.
it'll be weird to see how they really, like, transpire into next year. Same with the Rays. I know they shift and do a whole bunch of, like, nerd genius stuff over there. So we'll see what the shifting change does for them. But we're still here to talk about John Schneider. And I heard his press conference, and I believe he said that move of pulling Gosman was because, there was a long inning before that, so we sat for about 30 minutes, and then he also, he got 2 outs, which, is good, and then he pulled him after. Personally, I would have kept him in the game, but hindsight is 2020, but I want to get your thoughts on that one.
I mean, in the moment, you're like, what is he doing kind of thing. But then when you actually like take a week off and you look at it, um, right, he did have a long inning before that. Plus, he was close to 100 pitches. He was at 99 or something like that, or 96.
Yeah,
Um, as well, he got the two outs, but he also loaded the bases.
he did. Well, he
Or
loaded the
not, or
bases
not,
first,
or
I think.
sorry, yeah, loaded the bases first, then got the out. And even when he got the out, he was still kind of all over the place. Like he wasn't as controlled as Gosman usually was. So you could see that fatigue was starting to wear in.
Yeah,
Um, then again, with that being said, if Schneider's move worked, like we wouldn't be talking about this. You know
he'd
what I
be a
mean?
genius.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he'd be a genius, right? He comes in, get a ground ball or a strikeout, whatever.
Yeah, not a
If
wild pitch and
I'm
a 3-run home run.
exactly like if I'm the manager, I would have maybe pulled him a little quicker if I was gonna pull him,
Hmm.
or I would have let him get one more batter.
I personally would have let him get one more batter because Carlos Santana sucks against right-handed pitching, and he's really good against lefties, just
Well, I
based off
wouldn't
the
have brought in
stats.
Mesa, first of all. I don't know why we did, but
Yeah, out of everybody.
I would have brought in like I don't know if I was a guy bringing it was probably gonna be like David Phelps
Yeah, David
or
Phelps,
like Zach Pop, like someone with a high ground ball
Jimmy,
rate.
even like Jimmy Garcia, throw him in a
Yeah,
big scenario like that because he is one of those guys for the big innings. But
yeah.
we're not here to really to talk about
But
the last
like you
game.
said, hindsight's 2020, right?
Exactly,
So
100%. Now we know Schneider will not make that mistake again.
yeah, it's very similar to the um, what's the guy's name on Tampa
Kevin Cash
that
pulling
got
Blake
pulled?
Snell.
Yeah, it's very very similar to that.
Hmm.
Maybe not to the same stakes, but it's still very similar.
I think it's even
And
bigger. So that was in the World Series.
yeah, it's similar but not as big.
Yeah,
But you could see. I don't think Schneider, if Schneider does make that move again, I think it'll be like almost 100% like certain with it. You know what I mean?
exactly, exactly. And maybe Vladdy will tap him on the back, or Alejandro Cook will be like, "No, don't do that," but in Spanish. So you never know. Maybe they'll do something like that.
I
But
know. But moving forward, I was gonna say, Chris, heading into 2023 here,
mhm.
is now have an official manager for the start of 2023.
Woohoo!
What are you
Let's
expecting from Schneider over his 3-year deal?
3-year deal. I'm expecting 3 playoff runs, all 3 years. Hopefully 3 World Series. That would be really cool. But honestly, as long as we can just make it to the ALDS every year, so then we can watch the home game this time, that would be great.
I think at least 2 out of the 3 years you have to make the ALDS,
Hmm.
and I think at least one of those years you got to make ALCS.
And World Series or bust.
I
No,
mean,
not
World Series
bust,
would
but
be, yeah, it is. They're getting very close to World Series or bust territory with this team.
well, look, the
So
playoffs are completely, not completely, but like I would say 50% luck, 50% players getting hot at the right time.
yeah, the
And
freaking Phillies are in the
exactly.
NLCS with a 2-1 lead. What the heck?
We got the Phillies versus the Padres, which is the two teams I had no faith in going into this playoffs, and they're in the ALCS. So I have no idea anymore. My entire playoff bracket's destroyed. Besides the fact that Houston moved on, that's the only thing I've
Yeah,
gotten
that's
right.
all I have is Houston moving
Yep,
on too.
Houston.
So,
So
oh well.
yeah.
But yes, I agree. It is a little bit of a mixture of 50% luck, 50% skill at the
Hmm.
playoffs. So, but at least ALDS, I agree.
Yes. Well,
I
I
think
think that's
that's
about
good. I
it.
think that's a good point to wrap it up here.
Let us
Um,
know, guys, what you think
let us
about
know
John
down below.
Schneider. Will we win the American League next year? Who knows? Maybe with John Schneider with that winning percentage. I forget what his winning percentage was, but it was really good. And
Whatever the stats was that I just pulled up. Hang on.
let's see if I can figure it out. If I check the stim.
Whatever. Hang on, I can do it.
Okay. I just want to know what his winning percentage was when he was the manager.
621, I think.
So a 621 winning percentage would have had us winning the American League East. We would have won the Central, but we would have been behind Houston, so we would have been second in the American League. 623 would have put us at 101 and 61, tied with the
Yeah.
Braves and the Mets.
Still would have put us in the playoffs in the ALDS. We would have got the bye for the wild card. So
Yeah, so then we would have played Cleveland, probably.
yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Cleveland. Sorry, I'm tripping.
But 101 wins, who knows? Maybe the Astros won't get there next year. Maybe
You know
the
what?
Yankees
Jay's
won't.
team definitely has possibility to hit 100 plus win season. So
100%.
let's see. Let's see if it happens, especially with the new schedule rules coming out next year.
Mhm. Oh, right. That's next year.
So
We
we're
get to
not
play
gonna
more
have to
Central
face
teams.
we're not gonna have to face the Yankees bazillion times.
Not gonna play the Rays.
Yeah.
At least this
So
is good right when the
you know
Orioles are
what?
getting
John
good too.
Schneider's he's got everything going from here. He's just got to put everything together.
Exactly. So guys, I think that's a good time to wrap up for today's video. If you did enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends, join the Discord that we don't have yet, but we will have eventually. And with that being said, see you guys next time. Goodbye.